Okay, so picture this. It's, I don't know, a Tuesday. You're driving home, you're tired, maybe a little hungry.
The danger zone.
Totally. And you're in the left lane, and just out of nowhere, some guy cuts across 3 lanes and just slams on his brakes right in front of you.
Oh, I know this guy.
We all know this guy. Your coffee goes flying, your heart just spikes, and the words coming out of your mouth. Well, let's just say we can't repeat them here.
It's the universal language of road rage.
Exactly. Or, it's a coworker taking credit for your idea. Or your spouse making that one comment about the dishes again. The point is, the heat rises.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, the advice we've all been given is, it's always the same, right? Take a deep breath, count to 10.
Go punch a pillow.
Punch a pillow, yes. This whole industry of anger management. But we are diving into a book today that says all of that. It's basically a scam.
It is a really bold stance. We're talking about Never Get Angry Again by David J. Lieberman. And you're right, he comes out swinging. He says that managing anger is like gardening by just snapping the tops off the weeds.
Which, makes the garden look nice for about an afternoon.
For an afternoon, exactly. But the root is still there, thriving underground.
Yeah.
So give it a day, give it a week, and that anger is going to grow back.
And probably stronger.
Usually stronger, yeah.
So, if we're not supposed to manage it, what are we supposed to do? Because the title, Never Get Angry Again, that sounds like a bit of a gimmick, doesn't it?
That sounds like a superpower. Or maybe a lobotomy.
Yeah, like you'd have to be a robot or something.
But the mission of the book and our deep dive isn't to teach you how to, suppress the rage. It's to get you to a place where the anger just doesn't ignite in the first place.
So immunity, not suppression.
That's the word, immunity.
I like that. But okay, before we get to the how, we have to get the why. To me, anger feels like a reflex. You hit my knee, my leg kicks, you insult me, I get mad. It just feels automatic.
And that's the first trap.
Oh.
Lieberman, he starts by drawing this really hard line between pain and suffering. This is the whole foundation.
Okay, walk me through that.
Pain is inevitable. If you stub your toe, your nerves send a signal. That's pain. If you go through a breakup, that's emotional pain. You can't avoid it.
Right.
But suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain.
So pain is the event, but suffering is the interpretation.
Precisely. He uses this analogy that I think is just perfect. Imagine a 2-year-old playing with a cheap plastic truck, and suddenly, pop, the wheel snaps off.
Oh, I have a toddler. I know exactly what's coming next. It is World War III.
Total devastation. Screaming, crying, on the floor. To that child, the world has literally ended. But look at the parent standing there. Is the parent crying?
No, they're annoyed, probably. But they're not devastated.
Right, because the parent knows it's a $2 toy.
Yeah.
They have perspective. The child doesn't. And Lieberman's whole point is that when we fly into a rage over traffic, we are that toddler.
Ouch. Okay, that's humbling.
We've lost all perspective. Anger at its core is a total collapse of perspective.
So to stop being the toddler, we need to understand what's actually breaking in our brain. The book, it breaks us down into this triad, right? The body, the ego, and the soul.
Yeah, and you don't have to get hung up on the word soul here. Just think of them as 3 drivers fighting for the steering wheel.
Okay.
The body is the animal. It wants what feels good. Comfort, chocolate, sleep.
Immediate gratification, the path of least resistance.
Then you got the soul. That's the part that wants to do good. Your conscience.
And in the middle, stirring the pot.
Is the ego, the villain of our story. The ego doesn't care about feeling good or doing good. It only cares about looking good.
It wants to be right. It wants to be in control.
Exactly. And the book argues that anger is almost 100% an ego problem. It triggers when reality threatens the ego story about itself.
And to protect that story, this brings us to the zombie story. When I read this, I actually laughed, but then I was like, oh no, I do this.
It's such a perfect case study in cognitive dissonance. So there's this man who is completely convinced, delusional, that he is a zombie.
Tough starting point for therapy.
You'd think. So his psychiatrist tries logic, right? Checks his pulse, shows him his reflection. Nothing works. So finally the doctor asks him, do zombies bleed?
And the man says?
He laughs, says, of course not, doctor. Everyone knows zombies don't bleed.
He's committed to the bit. Okay.
So the doctor takes a pin, pricks the man's finger, and this drop of bright red blood bubbles up.
The moment of truth.
The man just stares at it. He's stunned. And then he screams,
I'm alive!
Oh my God, zombies do bleed!
Wow. He would rather rewrite biology than rewrite his own story.
That is the ego. We would rather be a right zombie than a wrong human. Think about work. Someone points out a mistake you made. The logical response is, oh, thanks for catching that.
But the ego response, the angry response is, why are you always nitpicking me?
Exactly. Because the ego is screaming, I am the competent one,
Yeah.
and reality just pricked your finger. So you attack the person holding the pin.
And the scary part is that this isn't just a metaphor. Anger actually, physiologically, makes us dumber, right?
It's not a metaphor at all. When we say someone is blind with rage, that is medically accurate.
Hmm?
The ego feels threatened, it triggers fight or flight, and your brain gets flooded with cortisol.
And cortisol shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the logic center.
It slams the door on it. So when you're in a rage, you are, and this is not an exaggeration, operating with a lower IQ. You are physically incapable of seeing another perspective.
You're just a reflex machine. Okay, so if it's so self-destructive, why does it feel so powerful in the moment? It can feel kind of good.
That's the hook. Lieberman says anger is a reaction to fear, specifically the fear of being powerless. So anger gives you this surge of adrenaline that mimics the feeling of power.
It's a false high, a drug.
Totally. And this ties directly to self-esteem. He brings up the famous marshmallow test. You know that one, right?
Oh, yeah. 1 marshmallow now, or 2 if you wait.
Right. And the kids who could wait, who could delay gratification, they grew up to have higher self-esteem.
So what's the link between marshmallows and road rage?
Low self-esteem looks for the quick fix. Emotionally, the quick fix is anger. I feel small, so I will explode to feel big.
Uh-huh.
People with high self-esteem can tolerate the discomfort. Their worth isn't tied to that one moment.
They don't need the sugar rush of rage to feel important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lieberman uses this great analogy of a bucket versus a thimble. Imagine you have a bucket and a thimble, and both are filled to the brim with water.
Okay.
Are they both full?
Yes.
But which one holds more?
The bucket, obviously.
We want to be the bucket. If your self-esteem is a thimble, one drop of criticism makes you overflow. If you're a bucket, you can take a lot of drops, traffic, rude comments, and the water level barely moves. You have capacity.
So the goal isn't to stop the rain, it's to get a bigger bucket.
That's it. And that leads to this concept of mazal. It's a Hebrew term, often translated as luck, but it's more about the circumstances you can't control.
The weather, the economy, your flight getting canceled.
All that stuff. You can't control your mazal. But, he says, pain is the fulcrum. A fulcrum doesn't move you. It gives you leverage. You can use pain to lift yourself up into growth or let it push you down into suffering. The choice is yours.
That makes sense. But the hardest place to apply this is in relationships. It's not usually circumstances making us mad, it's people.
Oh, yeah. And it's where I think the book offers its most practical, life-changing analogy. The hardware store.
This one really stuck with me.
So imagine you desperately need milk. You walk into a hardware store. You're looking past the hammers, the nails. No milk. So you find a clerk and you start screaming at them, "Where's the milk? Why don't you have any milk?"
And the clerk is just looking at you like you're completely insane.
Right. Because hardware stores don't stock milk.
Sure.
You wouldn't get mad. You just go to a grocery store.
Okay, but in a relationship, the milk is what? Love. Respect.
Exactly. And it hurts when you don't get it. But the anger comes from expecting they could give it to you, but they're choosing not to. Lieberman's point is, hurt people hurt. People who are emotionally empty. They don't have milk in stock.
They are holding out on you. Their shelves are just empty.
They cannot give you respect because they don't have it for themselves. Once you truly accept that your parent or your partner is a hardware store, that they just don't have what you're asking for, the anger dissolves.
What's it replaced with? Sadness.
Often sadness, yeah. Or pity. Or
Oh.
just acceptance. But you stop trying to get milk from a place that only sells nails.
But does that mean you just let people walk all over you?
No, and that's a great question. This is where boundaries come in. But most of us get boundaries wrong. We think of boundaries telling someone else what to do. You can't talk to me like that.
That sounds like a boundary to me.
It's an attempt at control. A true boundary is about your space. It's not "don't yell at me." It's "if you yell at me, I will leave the room."
Oh, I see the difference. You're not enforcing their behavior. You're enforcing your environment.
The power is back in your hands. And when you have power, you don't have fear. When you don't have fear, you don't need anger.
That is so much more empowering. Okay, one more big idea before the tools. This one felt a little sci-fi to me. The idea that we can change the past.
It sounds impossible, but it's really just about how memory works. He tells the story of the deathbed revelation. An elderly woman is dying, looking back on 60 years of a happy marriage.
A good life.
A great life, she thinks. Then, in her final moments, she finds a letter. And she learns her husband never loved her. He had a secret family. He married her for her money.
Oh, that's just heartbreaking.
It is. But look what happens. In 1 second, 60 years of happiness becomes 60 years of betrayal. The events didn't change, but the meaning of her past was rewritten instantly.
Because her perspective changed.
Exactly. And if we can rewrite the past negatively in a second, we can choose to rewrite it positively. That failure wasn't a tragedy, it was the catalyst for your success.
We're not stuck with our history, just our interpretation of it.
And changing that interpretation physically rewires your brain. This is neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Neurons that fire together, wire together. Right now, you might have a superhighway for rage. We need to build a new road.
Okay, let's grab the asphalt. How do we do it? Let's start with the most practical one, the 90-second rule.
Yeah, this comes from a neuroanatomist, Jill Bull-Taylor. She found that the actual chemical lifespan of an emotion, the cortisol, the adrenaline, is only about 90 seconds.
Wait, hold on. 90 seconds. I can stay mad for an entire 3-hour car ride.
That's because you keep re-triggering it. The initial chemical wave washes over you, and then it's gone. If you're still mad after that, it's because you're replaying the tape in your head. I can't believe you did that. And boom, new wave of chemicals. You're choosing to stay in the loop.
So the strategy is just to survive for 90 seconds.
Basically, acknowledge the surge, but don't feed it new thoughts. If you can ride that wave for a minute and a half, the tide goes out.
That's a challenge I'm willing to try. But what about the facial feedback hypothesis? The idea of using your body to trick your brain.
This is fake it till you make it, but with biology. There was a study where they had people hold a pen in their teeth. Try it right now.
Muffled. Okay, I've got a pen in my teeth.
See how it forces your facial muscles into a smile?
Yeah, I feel kind of ridiculous.
So they showed cartoons to that group, and another group holding the pen with their lips, which makes a frown. The smile group found the cartoons way funnier.
Because the brain is checking the face for cues.
It's checking in and saying, oh, we're smiling, guess we must be safe. So when you feel anger rising, if you force a smile, you're sending a stand-down order to your nervous system.
It's an interrupt switch.
It is. Another one is the power pose, the Wonder Woman. Hands on hips, chest out.
Please tell me I don't have to do that in the middle of an argument.
Yeah, probably not. But before a tough conversation, absolutely. 2 minutes of that pose boosts confidence and lowers your stress hormone cortisol by 25%.
You're literally hacking your own biology.
You're priming yourself to be assertive, not aggressive.
Okay, last tool. And this one is my favorite because it sounds like a hallucination. The movie exercise. This is for when you're stuck in a loop, right?
Yeah, you're replaying an argument in your head. So you close your eyes and you visualize the scene.
Okay, I see them yelling at me.
Now, turn the picture to black and white.
Done.
Now play it backwards, fast, like an old silent film.
People walking backwards, coffee flying back into the cat. Okay.
And now, add a soundtrack, put on some circus music.
Yeah.
Or the Benny Hill theme.
Alas, it is really hard to be angry at that image.
And that's the point. You're scrambling the code. You're stripping the memory of its emotional weight. Your brain can't process it as a threat anymore. It's just a cartoon.
It sounds silly, but I can see how it would break the loop. So how do we wrap this all up? From zombies to hardware stores, how do we make this stick?
I think it comes down to self-concept. There was a study about these drive carefully signs. Researchers asked people to put a huge, ugly billboard on their lawn.
And I'm guessing most people said no.
Almost everyone. But with another group, they first asked them to put a tiny 3-inch sticker in their window. Be a safe driver.
Low stakes. Most people would say yes to that.
They did. Then 2 weeks later, they went back to that group and asked them to put up the huge, ugly billboard.
And
76% said yes.
what? Why?
Because the little sticker had changed their identity. They now saw themselves as the kind of person who cares about safe driving. And they acted consistently with that new identity.
So we need to put up the small sticker for our anger.
Start small. Tell yourself, I'm a calm person.
No.
Or I'm someone who doesn't get angry in traffic. If you shift your self-concept, your actions will eventually follow.
And I guess that's where gratitude fits in.
Gratitude is the ultimate shield. Your brain has a filter, the reticular activating system. It finds what you focus on. If you focus on what you're grateful for, your brain literally filters out the annoyances. You can't be grateful and angry in the exact same moment.
The bucket is full of gratitude, no room for anger. So if you had to leave our listener with one final question to ask themselves, what would it be?
It comes back to the beginning. Are you the victim of your story, or are you the writer? As long as you blame traffic or your boss or the hardware store for how you feel, you're the victim.
And the writer.
The writer knows pain is part of the story, but suffering is a choice. You're holding the pen. You can write a different reaction.
Are you the victim or the writer? I love that. That's the challenge for this week.
And try the 90-second rule. Just once. See if you can outlast it.
90 seconds to freedom. Thanks for diving deep with us on this.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time. And try to stay calm out there.